I walk for half an hour or something like that. I take my breakfast and I begin to draw. The first drawing I do, it's based on a text, a book I'm reading. And I've been doing that I began that in 1997, reading books and making every day a drawing based on the text. And then after, I try not to do anything, but I get bored very easy, so I had to draw. So I draw all the time. And I was explaining, Jane, that drawing is like this, etching is like this, and lithographs are like this, a little dot. But I love doing etchings, and I've been doing etchings for 50 years in Medellin. And I discovered Harlan and Weaver via Sarah Suzuki, who was the director of prints and drawings at the MoMA. And that's when our relationship began. You were here? No. At that time?
I was probably
20 years ago. So,
wow. So Sarah Suzuki, MoMA has a program where they take big patrons of the museum on these nice trips to different countries. And then one of the choices was, from what I've learned, to go to either see José Antonio's studio or something else. And she chose to go see José Antonio's studio. And then you showed her a lot of etching prints. And then she actually suggested, have you ever gone to Eudora? It was like Archie's studio. And I think it would be great collaboration. And so she introduced you to Harlan Weaver. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started. So, yeah, I think like that's just serendipitous. No.
And it was so strange because I wanted to show them how, like Felix did not so long time ago, like a demonstration of how a print is done. And they didn't know, most of them, they didn't know how an etching was made. So they were very, very happy to know that. And my nephew helped me, my two nephews helped me. And it was a great, great demonstration. And I was very happy to show them how a print is made, an etching is made.
That's amazing. And so I would like you to talk more about why you're so attracted to etching specifically. Because you not only make etchings here with us, you also make etchings at home on your own. And on top of it, you also teach etching technique to some of your friends in Colombia as well.
Since 2004, I have a group of people. They are not students because I'm not a teacher. We do portraits every Friday. And we have been doing for 21 years now. And some of them wanted to learn etching. So I said, only 15, because the workshop was not very big. So they choose, I don't know how they choose that 15, and we began to do that. And it was on Sundays. I said, in 4 Sundays, I will teach them how to do an etching. And at the end of the 4 Sundays, they were all addicted to this new drug. So we began to work I think at the beginning it was on the last Sundays of every month. And then it began to every other week. And you are doing like that. And they want to have every week, but I can't. So it's every other week we get together and we do etchings.
And do you always say, "Oh, I like Rembrandt's prints," and then you always also comment on Rembrandt made etching this way, the way you do it 500 years ago? And then when was the first time you saw an etching? And what was the moment when you were like, "Oh, this is an etching, and I want to do etchings as well"?
I remember before I saw a real etching in my hands. I was reading about etchings, but I didn't understand because the theory is very, very abstract. And so I got a teacher, a lady who taught me how to do all the techniques, wood, metal, and lithographs. And I fell in love with copper. It was zinc at the time. So when I went to study in Switzerland, I already knew the technique. But I was not a punk, but very expressionist kind of thing. Very, very. I was young, and I was experimenting with middle things, technically very, very bad, and that bored me really a lot. And I said, no, this is not the way. So I bought a book about Rembrandt's etchings, and I make a little prayer to him. Saint Rembrandt, save me from punk etching, and every day I went to the workshop, the etching workshop. I opened the book. It was a cafe in front of the atelier. I opened the book and I studied the etching, wherever it was by chance. And I close the book and I go to the workshop and I try to do something inspired by Rembrandt. And that's the way that he saved my life.
Great. What about the story? You know, a lot of people always comment on the scale that you work in. And sometimes, you know, we give you a bigger place and you always say, "This is my Sistine Chapel."
I remember with this. His was a big plate. Cut. And you give me this plate like this, and I'd say, no, I can't. I can't. No, it's too big. So they cut it in 4 or 6. No, 4, because it's like a book. It's like these 4 are together, and this is like I don't remember it. This is the title page and the colophon. But these were supposed to be together. And I think they did an edition with all them together.
Yes.
And so they cut it in 4 because it was. But this is really Sixteen Chapel. This is too big. And
This one is also pretty big.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, for making little plates, I can go home. I can make it home. And here I can do these big plates. I don't have to ink them. I don't have to
Clean.
all this the dirty work. So I am happy you do that. I just do the clean work, just drawing.
The fun work. I always say it's a fun work.
The fun work.
So,
I feel like an artist, like that. So.
But you come here. What about the story when the teacher told you should try to make bigger work?
When I was in school, I was always drawing little notebooks like this. And one day the teacher said to me, "Well, you came here to learn something new, because I think your notebooks are great, but do something new." I say, "Okay, let's do something new." So he taught me how to put a big paper like you do with the tape and everything. Beautiful paper, very, very flat. And he put like in a caballete. How do you say easel? And I began here making little things, little things. So he said me, no, you are a, no, lost case for this. Continue with your notebooks. And I think it's something in my eyes. I don't see big things.
Okay. Another thing I think what people also like think is interesting is you said, well, your work is in a lot of museums, the MoMA Museum, the Met Museum, all the curators in love with your prints, especially in New York, at least in New York. Then
all over the world.
all over there. But then you just like told me that a lot of people write about your work because you also like do drawings and small paintings. And you said a lot of people write so many articles about your work and they always don't do it right.
Almost always. I don't know why they never write about how I do things, my technique. I have millions of different techniques, and sometimes I say that's much better because I don't want every people know how I do my things. But on the other hand, I say, but why they are not interested in how I do all these things? But they are not. I don't know why they are not interested in knowing how I do that. With these students, something I really love. It's they always when I see a drawing, how do you do that? Show us. And so every time I say I did like this, I put this first and then after, and I think I'm a frustrated cook, Italian cook, because I like to make lasagnas. I think it's like layers and layers, pasta, and meat and pasta and meat and pasta. It's all my drawings is like a lasagna, like lots of layers of things, and at the end, I have to stop. I put the Parmesan.
But you also were talking about that you enjoy making prints because you do drawings really well as well. But then you enjoy printmaking because it allows you to let go of control.
Before, now I'm very old, but before it was really a pain, you know where? Selling my work. It was very difficult for me choosing what drawings will be for a show to be sold. And with etchings, I am very happy because I have the original plate and I have the one print and I can sell the prints. So I have always the original, the plate is mine. So that was one of the reasons I like etching, but it's something that etching is a kind of drawing for me, and I love drawing. So it's something that you cannot control. It's so unpredictable. It's impossible to know what you have an idea. You draw the idea on the plate, you etch the plate, and you don't know how the print will be. And one of the worst thing is for the etchers is the plate is always most beautiful than the print. So you are always looking for a print as beautiful as the plate, and that won't happen. So we follow that. I think you follow that light somewhere to have a print as beautiful as a plate, but I think it won't never happen. So it keep us doing prints and prints and prints. More prints. More prints.
So if you had a control of writing about your work and someone, that never seen your work before, and then all of a sudden they, walked into a big show of all of your work, not only the etchings, but maybe also drawings. So what would you, I guess, say about the show if you would be in control of writing the text about your work?
That's too difficult. Next question.
Before Jose says you're too complicated, I don't speak English.
I was drawing like a little circles, black circles and she was talking to me, and I said, no, let me drawing, let me draw. No, it's too complicated for me. No, but something I like to hear from people who go to my shows. It's some of them said that when I go to your show after, I want to draw. And that's something I like. So I say, go buy a notebook and a pencil and start drawing.
That's amazing. Well, I guess we can just open it to question people to ask you all the questions they want.
Easy ones, not as difficult as hers.
What will eventually happen to those original etchings and the plates that you have kept before way out?
The punk ones?
All of them.
Oh, I have all the plates. All the plates I made. I have like, I think almost 600 plates. Even the punk ones. The punky ones.
So would they end up in a private collection one day, or?
My little, he thinks he's the inheriting the whole thing. Let him dream that. This is my little brother. No, I don't know. Maybe they will sell by the pound for copper is very expensive. So.
Oh yeah.
You're printed on different color paper. How can you get use?
That's them. Yes, I prefer this kind of paper, this yellowish, yes, warmer. From this, I prefer this to this, but I like both. But if I have to choose, I prefer warmer, like yellowish.
Well, because whenever like it's a first time with an artist, I think we just like choose what is the safest, the one that we know works really well. But I think like after, with Jose, it's been so long that we're also trying to make it fun. And then back in the days, I think there were more of a handmade papers. So the Herkimer Suite is actually printed on a handmade paper. There are lesser of them. This in particular actually printed on handmade Japanese paper because also Jose likes these very, very tight edges, margins, right? And they're actually very hard to tear. So it was impossible for us to tear this close to the edge of the paper. And so we had an assistant, Naho, and she is originally from Japan, and she traveled back home, and so she just by accident found these cases, and she brought them here, and they were just perfect for what Jose wanted.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
This was like a very specific like handmade paper. We don't even know if they still produce it. And then this is also a Japanese paper. It's very thin. And I think sometimes it's also about technique. So when we do aquatint, which is like, this flat pinkerly, like washes, like here in the details. So it's a very sensitive and a lot of textures doesn't help to print really well. So if Jose does the aquatint, then we choose very, very smooth paper or very sharp. Sometimes it doesn't want to.
I'm thinking about the book. When are you book by do? How
I began to read journals. The first one was something I found as Barnes and Noble in Daytona Beach. My family used to have a condo there, so I went a lot to that bookstore, and I found a book written by Brian Eno, the musician, and it was called 1 Year with Swollen Appendices, and it was everything that he did during 1 year, day by day, January 1st, January the 2nd, until December the 31st. So I think this is the thing I need. The January 1st, I will read and I will do a drawing. And I do that in a very, very cheap paper with a marker. It was very, very, very primitive, very, very simple things, but I love that. So for the second year, I choose the diaries by Paul Klee, and I said I will use all the techniques in a beautiful paper, little notebooks of not that cheap paper, and every year I change the notebooks, the format, the size of the notebooks, because working the 365 days in the same, it's a little bit too much. So every year I change. And then after I choose Delacroix and Kafka and Rilke. In 1 year I didn't found journals. So I began to be an expert of how big they had to be, how thick the book should be to have 365 entries or pages. And I was an expert with this. So I go to the Barnes and Noble, and I took all the books that I liked the cover, and then they were like this. And I began to read by chance one page, and if I like it, I put it here, and if I don't like it, and at the end I choose one. This one it will be. And one year I didn't go to Daytona. I don't know. I don't remember, but I began to read whatever. So little books, big books. And now I'm reading like 4 or 5 or 10 books a year. And everything I read something, and if I like how it's written, I take.
And you
Yes.
He says it jumping off. It's not like literally connected to what you read. Like, can you catalog it back? Can you say, oh, this drawing is from the...
Yes, everything. Yes, I put a number 1 on January the 1st, and a number 365 on December.
But I
the
think
31st.
I think maybe she's asking is, let's say, if you look at this print, can you look at that print and be like, oh, I know exactly where that idea came from, what I was reading? That's what you're asking.
Yeah. Or like if I read that piece and looked at the drawing, if that would make sense to me, or if you're just really using it as a imaginative jump.
No, I don't remember anything. The most amazing thing for me is going to one of my shows, because I don't know who made all this. So I go and I copy myself. I go with a little notebook to copy myself, because I say, oh, this is beautiful. But I have to do it better. But I don't remember. I made so many things that when I go to a big show of mine, it's like a paradise, because I never see my drawings. Never. I never go back and see my notebooks.
You never look at them.
No.
and that's your current book that you're.
Now I'm reading Orhan Pamuk's Istanbul. I read My Name is Red, and that's a beautiful book. And Istanbul, I don't like that much. But once I begin a book, I have to read it, even if I don't like it. And it's a big book, so. And no, I had to finish it. I had. Only once I cheated because it was so bad that I made like 3 drawings of a book like this. It was so horrible. But once I begin, I have to finish.
But also, we talked about with you that your work is not, it's very far from illustration of what you read. So a lot of times it doesn't have direct connection to, even though the books influence your work so much, but the work doesn't have actually direct connection to any specific book.
I think it's not an illustration. No.
Krista, there are also happy accidents. So this, again, the end result is then the space project. It isn't very hard to relate to that.
Page you were reading, it was just the artwork to only have it shaded so you take.
Sometimes I begin something that I have in my head very clearly and it ends black because it's so horrible. I put black ink over and I begin to make little white dots over, but you never know what will be happening with when you begin a drawing. I don't have any idea how it will be at the end.
Yeah. So once your routine, you do drawings every day on a cheap paper with your ink.
Not only cheap paper.
Well, that's where I'm going. At what point do you transition into what becomes these pieces of the art book? Like during the day, do you sit down and do your daily exercise and then you sit down and do more formal drawing? Or how does that happen?
No, for me, it's all the same. In drawings and etchings, I have to do that because if I get bored, I'm very dangerous. So I have to be drawing all the time. But some of the etchings are based on drawings. Some of the etchings are invented directly on the plate. But for this, for example, this is from a painting I saw at the Prado like 2 months ago. And the other things are from photographs I took with this horrible thing. And this is invention. And this is from a book I'm reading. A friend of mine who lives in Rhode Island, he's giving me books about the Stoics. And these are all based on the drawings I made every day based on the Stoics texts. So these are from photographs I took. Maybe this was close to Western in Rhode Island. This one is in Spain. This is Rhode Island also. So it changes everything every time.
And this one is based on the game.
Yes, loteria. How do you say loteria in English? Lottery. That's easy.
But I have a lottery that has a number.
Yeah. Playing card.
It's the Mexican loteria. Nothing like bingo.
So you have that are the same.
You have a little cartoon cardboard with images, and someone takes cards, and you have the tree. So I have the tree. You put the tree over the tree, and that was, I don't remember why I put in loteria, but it was something like the loteria.
And this one is called El Rio.
El Rio. I love rivers. Once in 1990, I traveled Colombia, all over Colombia with a airplane company, and I loved the rivers in Colombia. So I made a lot of things based on rios, on rivers. So that's that. I think that was. No, I don't remember. But it's based on drawings also, drawings that I made. Enough. I got boy. Are you happy or you want some more questions?
Okay. I am curious about Jose Maestro. If you keep these group of students, and it's my understanding you don't get paid for the who are the students? What is the value for teaching them?
They're technically not students. They always say they're not students, right? And more like that.
Yes, when the portraits, everybody goes there. It's free. I'm not teaching. I'm not there. You have to do a portrait like this. No, never. People like to draw. It's all of us. We have to pose 30 minutes. When you pose, it's an eternity, and when you draw, it's not enough time. But I don't teach. If someone show me the drawing and say, "What do you think?" Maybe I will. I began to do portraits because my teacher in Geneva, he was doing portraits, and one of his obsessions was ears. So when I draw, I used to draw the ears like everybody. An ear is like 3 lines. And he said, no, an ear, everybody has a different ear. And it's as important as the nose or as the mouth or everything. An ear, it's very important. So I transmit them that obsession with ears. So they are all obsessed with ears now. But it's free. And then etching classes are free also.
But also, you didn't start by studying art. You study biology, right?
I didn't want to be an artist, and I don't know what an artist is nowadays. I don't know if an artist is liking to draw. I am an artist, but I don't think a lot about that. I just draw.
I'm curious about the sheet. I bet tôi về biology man and that's edit for the laptop but it's more take material.
I think the profiles are based on the drawings I made, the portraits. Maybe that's the origin of that. And the concentric things or the spirals, it's the best way to calm you. Because I began that, and when I draw, nothing exists. But with spirals and concentric things, I never tried heroin, but it must be something like that. It's something that it's so calming. The concentric things, you don't have to think on anything. So you have to be very careful to not to touch. I don't like the lines to touch, so I have to be very careful. And that you see that, and you say that's easy to make. No, it's very, very complex to do. So
You do that freehand?
Yeah.
No tool?
sometimes I say I have a tribe of little people like this that I say, you do this, you do that. Oh, it's all handmade.
And actually, Jose comes and, we work with a lot of different artists. Sometimes artists actually come with a sketch. Jose doesn't come with anything. Like, we give him a plate and he says, okay, I'm going to start working on a plate. And then he sits there for hours or maybe like you did. And then he just draws on the clay. So, yeah. We don't give him a lot of tools except the cedillo. We keep you like very...
I draw with gramophone needles that I found in antique shops. and they are the best. And with one needle, I think you can draw all you write. And I keep buying by hundreds. So I have hundreds of these gramophone needles, and I only use one. But and the boxes are so beautiful, so I have to buy more and more and more. Most of those steps are like automatic writing, because sometimes I feel that something there are space in the plate, but I don't want to make another drawing. So I begin to write, and I learn how to write this and like this and like this. So it's very difficult for people to understand. Even for me, I can read what I write. It's very difficult because it's very, very complicated. But it's for filling spaces. Yes, it's a texture.
Yeah. I think that's it. So anyone can just talk to you. They have like questions.
No, I have to go. I have to go to bed. Now I'm exhausted.